Mine's a 13:30.
Call the meeting to order.
Hang on a second. Yep, go ahead.
Call the meeting to order and introduce those present. I think we all know everybody.
Can you put the time in for the sake of the video? I mean, the date rather. Today's date.
5:30 on August 1st, 2019.
Great.
First item up is approved minutes of the 7-11 meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of 7-11.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Those opposed? Appearances by local citizens.
Maybe I'll take one. Yeah,
You're on the agenda down below, Barry.
so I'm on the agenda. This is appearances. I mean, I'm here today to talk about the water system. And I'm doing this to get some answers on some of the financial details, in particular what we owe and the 2-year period that we have to wait before the billing becomes active. And it is very vague, and we haven't got any answers on that. That's why I'm here, and I don't plan on discussing too much today. I have a new thing called the Learning Action Committee, which is going to happen in 2 weeks. I'm going to take this information and I'm going to discuss it there and record it. I want to look at it after whatever you say is today. I'm not going to argue. You answer the questions any way you want. You can ask me a question, but I'm out to get that. I'm out to do two things. I want to archive what's happening with this water system. It's been going on for 10 years with huge deficits and unanswered questions. And that's what I'm after, is get as much information as I can, give it to the people, and archive it for the future. And it will be on the website along with this video and others. And you know, there's already probably a half dozen videos on the water system where in the beginning, where I didn't know much about anything about the town, how it operates, or the open meeting laws. That's different now. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's all yours.
Anyone else?
I'll just give you an update on ATVs on Boganankle Road in front of my place, so just be a brief thing. You want it
Yeah.
now? Oh,
Sure.
okay. All right, so I was last year in June, and it seemed like things were really, just a lot of people on the road, fast, mufflers that were really loud and everything else, and I wasn't able to make it here for the last one, but I'm here today, and it seems as though, as I thought it might do after June passed by, quieted down a little bit, and so it's better. I mean, we still have a number of people that go by. I can't, for the life of me, figure out who's got you know, a tag that's a Newport Center tag or not. You know, I've been out there with binoculars. I've been out there, you know, trying to do yeah, you know, videos and seeing if I can, you know, spot it, and it's impossible to know. There's some people that I don't know in the community, and there's also people that buy them from outside the community. I just can't tell. You know,
But it has slowed down some from what it was.
Yes, I've noticed that.
I can honestly tell you, I've been by a couple times, my wife and I, and
Yeah.
a couple friends. And as far as the stickers, I personally have been policing it some. I have talked to people and I've actually convinced them to come in to get it.
We've given out, I bet you probably
And
175.
knowing, you know, that is not a trail, it is just a town highway, there is a sign on each end that says permit required.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I that's all, there's no question that that's in place. And, you know, I kind of suspect that most of the people that I see out there know have stickers on them, you know. It's just that I can't really tell. I think I see people come up and they stop at the end of the driveway and then they dig out a map and then they go back. And I think they may be, you know, VASA club
Confused.
members and that kind of thing that are just turning around and going back to the trail. You know, I'm not out there policing this, I'm just observing it, and
No,
I
we understand.
wanna stay out of, you know, going out and, you know, checking stuff and all that kind of stuff, cause it just.
Well, a few of the ones that I have talked to are some of our younger, more hot-headed. And I have told them, we need to slow down, one of them in particular said something about the sticker, and I said, which is, how's it policed? I said, if you have one and you see somebody without one, you talk to them. Well, I'm gonna get one, he says. And he did, his whole family did, you know? So it's like, it's an education thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
And I said,
in my position where I'm at, you know, I don't really
And
wanna.
I said, if you have to use that road, respect the landowners. Don't race up through there, and I think it's working. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've noticed a change, and so, you know, it's, you know, there's still people that what they'll do is they'll race all the way up to the corner, and then they'll slow down past me, and then I can hear them, you know, hit it as they go by. So I consider that a success, because at least we're halfway there.
Yeah.
It's,
Make
you know,
it a
I mean,
little
that's,
better.
you can't, you know, you can't expect change overnight or anything like that. So there's still a few loud mufflers, and today I almost hit one of my neighbor's kids, just, you know, blasting up through, and, you know, all of a sudden there they were. And, you know, I guess, you know, that's just something I not inclined to do anything more with, other than just
Okay. Well, that's
try to get out of the
good to
way.
hear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear.
Now we gotta work on the ones coming right down the main
Yeah.
drag through here.
Yeah, there is some of
At
that.
the store down here Saturday morning, and the guy pulled up. I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Oh, Buzzell Road." He said, "I just need to get gas."
Well, a lot of them do that.
Yeah.
It ain't just this road here.
No,
Yeah.
You know, I see US routes are still off limits, as far as I know. Can't
What-
get a permit for them.
One thing I do notice, I think most people just use the road as a shortcut. I don't think, I mean, I think they're using the town park as a shortcut, and it takes out that whole thing. You know, it kind of, but I think a number of people that were in, or at least a couple people within the park committee were concerned about is that, you know, basically it's just gonna end up a shortcut, and that, you know, the other uses for it will suffer because people are just buzzing through and not really doing anything more with the park than that. But, you know, you gotta think 10 years from now with something like that, so.
Yeah. yeah. Well,
So,
good to hear.
that's where it's at. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you.
Good, thank
I
you.
tell you, Dwight, you should live here with diesel trucks, kids with no mufflers, share the pain. It's a noisy mess around here. It's so loud here, it's ridiculous during the day. I do recording sometime, and I have to take 3-4 hours out to do a recording, and it goes, oh, another one ruined.
Commissioner's report. What you got for us, Fred?
Well, my truck broke down again. 2 weeks in a row, I used it to haul one load of sand in 2 weeks. And I'm glad we didn't buy another international, and they know it down there too. I had enough of that. We went down to get it last Friday, we hauled one load of sand Monday. Broke, same thing,
Same thing?
what they saying.
So we had to pay for the whole place?
Well, they knocked it down, knocked $200 off,
Yeah, 250.
$250. Cause I give them a
Off
hard
one,
time.
off one hauling or
Off
two
one, and this
hauling?
one here, we ain't got the bill yet, this truck's still down there.
Well, we shouldn't have to pay that second.
I told them
say-
that too, Jerry, I argued this with 2 of the service members now, and this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
And they agree with me, you know, it's, what the hell good the truck, I ain't gonna hear, you know, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but,
yeah.
and they understand that too, but they're out of their hands once it's.
Yeah, well, hey, it is
So
what it
it's
is.
another trip down, I said they ought to start paying us instead of us paying them. You know, they get the trouble than we do when they go down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's, maybe we'll get back tomorrow, I don't know, but power was supposed to come in today. Solenoid on the DEF sensor or some darn thing. Yeah,
Anything else?
that's all on the truck. The salt shed, the back wall, we put salt in, The bottom is pushed off the sill. We gotta get that paved. We didn't know it till we went in the back, you know, we were working out there a couple weeks ago. You know, pushing that salt.
Oh,
Yes,
just the
yeah.
salt, just the salt?
Yeah, you
That's
can't,
concrete?
up on so far. And we don't push that, cause the plywood is still there, the plywood ain't broke, but the sill push right off.
The wood part is?
Yeah.
Okay,
With the metal on the back there.
yeah.
Huh,
So we gotta get that fixed.
jack it up, push,
Okay.
pull it back in?
Is it full of salt?
Not right now.
Okay, so you can get at it
Yeah.
to fix it, yeah. Well,
Jim
gotta get
does
it
have
fixed.
a, Jim, I
Yeah,
was gonna tell you.
I talked to her about it there.
Jim's got a price too from, Bouchard,
Bouchard?
along with plans. to
Okay.
do the
Yeah, I know he's
other.
supposed to have it.
Yeah, I asked him about I told him about the salt shed and he mentioned that.
Good.
We'll
We've got
just
the
have
door.
to be more careful and not push it
Yeah,
all the way back.
we didn't even realize it, you know.
No, no, I understand that.
The plywood is not broke or nothing, but the wall is, must be the plywood bend and
Yeah.
push it.
Yeah,
So we gotta get that fixed,
yeah,
otherwise I don't know what.
yeah.
Okay, I got that. Then your radar signs down here.
Yeah, that's one of the next
We've got
things.
the cement in. They came
Oh, good.
last week.
Yep.
They built a hole and they poured the concrete. They had to wait 7 to 10 days before they could do any more with it.
Cure.
To
Yeah.
cure.
Yeah,
And so we're just waiting on them now again.
Who decided on where they would go placement? The
They-
state?
state did?
Yeah.
So we had no say in that?
No. They had to go by mileage mark. Eric actually helped me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came over and, cause I don't know where to, you know, they don't mileage
I-
markers.
The one on this end, I didn't mind. This end, I would've liked to seen it a little
Over
further
further.
out of town.
Yeah, over by Elwood's old place.
It would've been better.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
But it's,
I think it's
It is
mainly
what it is.
to get through by the school
Yeah.
and this intersection.
yeah,
But the
So-
state made that. And then Eric even marked it for dig safe for me.
yeah,
He did all that for me,
Yeah.
so I didn't have to touch
Good.
it. So they came in and it was done.
yeah,
We had no control over that.
yeah. No, I figured that, but I wanted to ask.
And we've got everything in the shop, and all we do is come do it, but,
Yeah,
you know, it's what they're getting paid for.
so probably next week sometime.
I would say, 'cause tomorrow's Friday,
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Next week they'll get them in.
I would say,
Yeah,
you know. And the other thing is the sewer,
we haven't, we're gonna go
Okay.
to that, yeah. You got anything else on the truck?
nope,
Okay. So we'll go to the water sewer.
right, the water, I don't know much about.
What about the sewer?
Well, that Juddy's supposed to come in here and suck out that big tank, but he ain't got here yet. He told me next Wednesday now, but he put me off since May, 'cause he got hurt in the spring.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then he said, well, wait a month, he said, I could be healed up better, and so we waited a month.
okay.
And then he's getting a truck painted right now, and he's supposed to get the truck back this week, and so he's making me all kinds of promises, but I don't know what we're doing.
Well,
But
hopefully,
the state said it ain't gotta be done, so I'm not pushing him too
I
hard,
know,
but,
I know.
You can get it done before fall at
But it
at
still
least,
would be
yeah.
nice to get it.
but I've gotta get my filters clean, you know, and I hate to do all that, and then have him come and do that, and then we gotta clean them again.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're spending $600 just to clean the filters.
Well, hopefully in another couple, 3 weeks it'll be in.
Hopefully, but,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, me and Mike, we checked up on the water meters, the fire station, and Lapland's old place, we gotta change them.
Gotta change the meters.
You know, that one up there junk, it ain't right.
Hmm.
And the one down, fire station, we can't get in there, so we can't tell. You know, they go down, hook the wire, we don't know what happened.
Do we call the guy back that installs them?
Mike called them to see if they're warranted,
Yeah.
and I don't know what he found out.
Yeah. Well, we need to get hold of somebody to get in there and check that.
Yep. Yeah, well, I did chase around with Claude there and look for him, you know, but he's always on a mission now. He's got
Yeah.
a black book there, he goes by that.
Well, I don't know, Kirk Flynn has you have a
I
email
know
address for
he
him?
must better than Claude, you don't never see that
That's
guy.
right. Only thing is on Monday, when June's there for
Yeah.
the senior meal, maybe,
Yeah,
Oh, call the
Yeah.
PD. That's where he
Yeah.
works.
who,
Flynn,
oh, he does?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, June's there every Monday for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
senior meal.
Yeah.
Going on
Yeah.
Mondays and,
There's, I don't wanna get them guys mad at me, you know, going in there and
Well, we
Stepping over.
gotta be able to check our
I know, I
equipment,
agree,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have a lot of this, you know.
cause you got a reader outside and it's not reading it, right?
No, it's not reading
So
that.
something, yeah, we need to check it.
And the other one is old Lady Molly's place, you know, on the crossroad there. I don't know the girl's name.
Betty.
Betty? Yeah.
Yeah. But somebody gotta go in there, I don't wanna go in. And Paul told me about that place when he went in, and I know Mike ain't going in there.
I had called her and she said that she was gonna check to see
She
if anything
pumped,
was
the
running.
heck with it,
Yeah,
10 million gallons or something, the meter just going haywire. But she ain't pumping the water, she, you know, the meter is screwed up. The same with Laughlin's up here.
Yeah, I gotta get them checked out then.
By the time you gotta have a mask on when you go in there. I don't wanna say that.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
did Mike hear back from him, you know, Paul?
I don't know, he didn't say nothing today,
No.
you know. But ain't no big deal to change the meter, that's the thing, but should it be a plumber to do it? Because you're gonna be liable for it, you run this other play with meters.
Yeah, we probably have to get a plumber.
That's what I told Mike.
I think that Paul had contracted with Netto's and said if we
Yeah,
didn't
Chris
have-
Hammond needs a plumber,
Yeah,
okay? And Chris Hammond oversees Paul, cause he had to have Paul's,
Right, because of the state of
so
Vermont.
Chris should know how to do it, it's just two knots, three
Yeah.
wires.
Yeah,
It's a simple thing.
yeah.
Mike
But
is still
if
under
we-
warranty, huh?
But if we go in there and then screw something screws
Yeah.
up, well, 10 boys were in here,
Yep.
then you're gonna pay again.
Yeah. Well, Mike needs to find out from that guy on warranty or whatever.
Yeah, he's trying,
Yeah,
he did call
They were out in New Hampshire, weren't they?
yeah.
Manchester.
But they still would either pay someone to do it or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah, you
Right.
know, it's about to pay that kind of money, but
Well,
it's liability's sake.
if the meter's under warranty, well, then it shouldn't cost too much, I would think.
I know, yeah, I don't know that,
Yeah, I don't know how that works, yeah.
I don't,
I might find out.
yeah, we're working on that.
Anything else?
It was hard to find a dozer this year, not to say that, if I find a gallon, Paul Washer's gallon, we can't find them. Andrews, I don't know how that is, but he's,
You don't have one. Oh, well, it's
Yeah.
at 20, it's too big.
yeah,
It's big.
I know it is. I'm okay, but Paul Wash got one. Been working on the sand, trying to get that up.
We just pushing the stand up, that's what you wanted to do? Oh,
I don't know, I'll think about it, but if you've got Paul,
Paul, you can go bring it,
yeah.
$60 an hour. You want that, $60 ain't much.
No,
And you know, it's like be like with Alan sold his,
yeah, oh, we did.
yeah, he's one of them.
Sold a big one, yeah,
Sold them both,
yeah,
so you can find them.
yeah. You can check with Cat or them, sometimes they
I
rent
get
them.
$8,000 a month.
Really?
You gotta
So
rent it
very
for the
good.
month.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, okay.
and eat into the budget fast.
Well, we got $2,300,
Yeah.
I know.
so
Yeah,
I know better than that. But eventually you're gonna have to do something, because,
yeah.
but we got by this year, I think.
Okay.
So he found you today when you went up?
Yep.
Anything else?
No, that's all I've got.
Okay. The next
You got
part.
anything?
No,
Very good.
the next part is answer to Barry Shahagan's questions. It says see attached email, and there's copies here if anyone wants one. That's the agenda.
Yeah, they're part of it.
Okay, thank you.
In the public record.
The letter is to me and the Select Board of Newport Center from Barry Shahagan. First off, with respect, we request from the town clerk and selectmen cooperation on the following. Please do not use semantics to avoid answering questions, and I and we the people do know all the specific terms you use in town office to label and describe financial expenses and other details of the town business. The job of the selectman and town clerk, according to our constitution, is to aid the people in business of town and be accountable at all times. Please work with us. Decisions that were made resulting in the water water sewer bill increase of 2015 cost of water users approximately an additional $2,800 per water user in the last few years with no clear, responsible explanation.
Reasonable.
Uh-huh.
Reasonable.
Reasonable explanation. I may need the water.
Is there something here,
It's a,
drinking fountain or something?
just water.
You do dry out when
No,
you
it
have to
comes-
read something.
Huh?
You do dry out when you have
Yeah.
to read something.
You got a paper?
No accountability on the reason why we got this increase in the first place. To add insult to injury, even though the water project was completed over 6 months ago, it has been decided the water users must wait an additional 2 years before the new billing using water meters will be implemented. All the while, the water users continue to pay an inflated water sewer bill, $300 per quarter. That's wrong, it's $295 per quarter. This, I estimate, will cost the users another approximate $1,400 more than they should have to pay if the new billing were to be implemented. The following questions concerning the Aldridge and Elliott documents, Town of Newport, thank you. That's better. Town of Newport, new water source, preliminary assessment, May 2011. This assessment cost the town water users, correct me if I'm wrong, approximately $20,000. Question 1. Were any of the 3 water source alternatives from the table 4.1.4, page 4-2 from the preliminary assessment implemented? Yes. One of the water source alternatives from the preliminary assessment was implemented.
What did you do? Exactly.
We resurrected that.
We resurrected the well on top of the hill that wasn't being used. And in doing so, we had to put in an arsenic plant at the same time. Question 2, if so, when? It was started in early 2012, completed project mid-year 2013. If any were, please provide supporting documents, ledger, journal items, expenses, and details of what was done. Numbers
skip
alone
that.
do not tell us enough. We need specifics on what the money was spent on any work such as labor, construction, consultant materials, and any relevant expense. And I think you have that, right? So.
Yeah, if anybody wants them, I can give them to them.
Question 3, was Steve Barrett, Selectman Chair, delegated to represent the Select Board for the meetings on 2011, 12, 13, and 14, as was done in 2018, when the decisions were made that caused a deficit of $400,000? No, Steve was not delegated to represent the Select Board in 2011, 12, 13, or 14. Current deficit for the water system that users have to pay. What exactly is the current deficit for the water project as of this date today, August 1st, 2019? The last water project has been completed and there is approximately $6,000 left over from this project, no deficit. The loan on this that the water users are responsible for is $283,000.
So where did that 283 come from? From what
Our share of having that put in.
contradicts what Denise said. She said the grants covered everything. Why is it a $200,000 deficit?
I never said the grant covered anything. The $745,000 bond vote all but $283,000 was
We had to have a percentage of it ourselves, it weren't all free.
Okay?
Right, which everybody has known about.
And that's
Talked
why we
about
had
that.
to have the bond vote for it.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Question 5, were any new amounts added to the water fund deficit in the last 2 years, 2018 and 19? There were no new amounts added to the water fund deficit of 2018 and 19. Number 6. What exactly is the original agreement amount, 44,000, for specifically from the journal with descriptions, contracts, consultations, notes, materials, etc., in detail what the money was or is to be used for? The 44,000 is the original amount to get the water project started, and Denise has a copy of that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want copies of them. If you do, I can provide them to you.
that's all right, I can skip that.
Part B, net change for prior amendments, 84,000. What was the money to be spent on, specifically contract services, etc., from journals or whatever? However, records on these items are kept, documents with numbers only and labels we are not familiar with are unacceptable. We need information that describes the services, materials, consultations, and any other costs involved in the expenditures. Denise has copies of the amendments describing what services each changes are for. She has a copy for you if you want it.
Great, I'll take that.
Number 7.
Can you pass this down to?
Yes, I will.
Thanks.
We kind of put 7, A, B, C, and D together, so I'm going to read all the questions and then I'll give you the answer. What will be the exact date the monitoring will end and we will have the new billing active? Will the B part, will the select board and clerk, who it may concern, need additional time after the 2-year monitoring period ends to process the monitoring information to create and implement the new billing plan? If C part is, if so, how long? And D part, what date will all the above be completed and a new billing implemented? Excuse me 1 second. Again, 2 years is what is recommended by the USDA and our engineers. We would like to see 4 seasons of date before we even think about billing based on usage. It is unrealistic for us to be able to pin down an exact date for this to begin. We hope that we will not need more time after the 2-year period, and no one has a crystal ball, so impossible to pin this down exactly. We have
Doesn't
started
require a
talking.
crystal ball.
Don't.
You know, it only.
You want me to finish or not, Barry?
Yeah, I'll finish.
Don't interrupt me or I will stop right here.
You're not telling me anything. You might as well stop.
We
You
have
haven't said
started
anything.
talking to different agencies about developing a rate structure, but have to collect much more data.
I don't buy it. That's not an answer. I don't buy that you can't have a date, because we've been strung out, we got strung out for 4 years at a cost of $400,000 deficit for water hauling, which doesn't make sense to me. And you did one little project and forgot about it. Now we got this never-ending bill that stays there, and it's 300, and I'm wondering how much, you know, it's too much, it's not gonna end. I need to know a date. You can say, okay, we're gonna monitor it, and in 2 years from now will be a certain date. No, we don't know, we're gonna change it. You know, that's what bothers me. I don't see any reason why you can't have a date. It's 2 years from now, is 2021, and at that time, we'll finish it. Your monitoring's finished, you'll do it. No, it's gonna drag out and drag out, because I believe this money you're collecting from the water users is going other places. And there's plans for it, I'm gonna be watching. You know, that's what I feel. There's no sympathy never thought of the people that have had to endure the hardship of this bullshit, especially the water hauling, which is enormous debt, and why it just got strung out. Now we're going through the same thing over again. 2 years, and I know it's not gonna happen in 2 years, and you can't tell us, if you're telling me you can't tell us when it's gonna happen, that's my answer, that it's gonna go on for years and years and years. That's all I can say. And why can't it be a year? Aldridge,
Would
Aldridge,
you like me to
Elliott,
finish your
Aldridge-
questions?
Huh?
Would you like me to finish your
Not
questions?
until I finish responding to that.
You've said the same thing 4 times, so I already know what you're saying.
No,
You
I'm not-
want a
I
date,
don't
you want a date. I don't have a date, I don't have a
You
crystal ball.
gotta have a date.
I don't have a date, I don't have
All
a
right?
crystal
You're not
ball.
being accountable, in my opinion, when you should be able to. And we need accountability on
Then take
that.
this board to court.
If I gotta pay that for 2 years, we'll go to court.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You think it's that simple?
No, I don't think it's that simple.
50 hours of work. You'll have to go to the lawyer several times because you can't put you on the stand, or him, or even Steve. You'll have to be versed, and you'll never make it to a trial because it's too much. It's a lot of work, and I don't want to go to a trial. I want the water bill reduced. But I will take action if I know I'm gonna have to pay this for 2 years with this, well, Elliott Aldridge recommends, and he's making money all the time, yeah, more contracts for me, I recommend it's the longest period
All
of
right,
time.
enough. Let's hear what
Anyway,
else
that's,
he's gotta say.
the water bill has gotta be reduced. People in this town have paid way too long, and now it's just another vague, endless put off. Too much money. I don't care what you do, reduce, I think that the water bill should be reduced to 100
No,
and
you
a
said
quarter
you've
a
heard
month.
enough, so I've heard enough. We'll move on. Next question.
All right, I'm not getting my accountability at all. That's what it's about.
Set the tax rate for 2019 and address penalties for late homestead
That's it.
violations.
You're not gonna finish the questions?
You told me you didn't want to hear anymore, you'd heard
No,
enough.
I didn't say that. I
Are
said,
you gonna interrupt me again?
well, if I need a discussion, I will. This
If
is
you're
an
gonna
open
interrupt me
meeting.
again, I'm gonna move on with the rest of this
This
meeting.
is not interrupting, it's a discussion. I needed to discuss the point you didn't want to
And I
discuss.
told you that I didn't have a crystal ball and I couldn't tell you a date.
Okay, and I responded to that. Let's go on to the next question.
All right, then I will move on to the
It's a
next
discussion.
question.
Jerry, it's too much of this, well, shut up and don't go on anymore, in different ways.
I get sick of listening to the same thing over and over and over.
Well, what am I listening to you? Same thing over and over and over. Delays, lack of accountability. So, that's why.
What
that's
are
why
the
we're talking.
expenses the water users will be responsible for? We know so far price per year, price per gallon, and services fees. Are there any others? The water users are responsible for all expenses related to the water. A breakdown of these is in the town report under the financial statements. 8A, how exactly will the service
Oh,
fee?
no, I didn't see that in there. I didn't see a breakdown of the expenses. I don't want just a label in a price. I want to know what it means. That's my problem. I don't like getting documents to say, well, $18,000 for Exhibit A, number 2. Okay. This is for the billing I'm talking about,
Yes.
the billing. Okay.
The water department is a standalone company, Barry. Those are the expenses that the water department has to pay for.
Where water expenses,
So you have
postage,
to-
USD loan payments.
Right, so you have to collect enough money from the water users to pay all of those bills
I
each and
understand.
every year. Okay.
So my question was, so you're gonna take 164,000, that's gonna be, for
That
the
was for
service
last
fee?
year,
That's how
Barry.
you will calculate the service fee?
I don't know what, I have no idea. We don't know how to do a rate structure. We've just barely started talking to people to help us do a rate structure. We have to have a flat rate, and then, as an example, the town of Troy just completed this last year. Their flat rate for water and sewer is $212.25. That's if you use
For what
no-
period, a year?
A quarter. That's if you don't turn on a faucet, don't flush a toilet. Anything
Per
over-
user? Per user, right? Of course.
If you would let me just kind of finish my my explanation, and then you might understand it.
Well, I mean, you know,
If
if
you
you
have
want to,
the-
I won't know what to ask.
If-
You know, I'm not trying to give you a hard, you say $200, I wanna know per user, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to interrupt you, answer that and then continue. I mean, so it's
Again, I start, the town of Troy pays per user
Okay, great.
$212.25 per quarter if you use no water, no sewer at all. Anything over the use of 5,000 gallons of water in that 90-day period, you have to pay, and I don't know what their rate is per 1,000 gallons or per 100 gallons. You pay so much for every 1,000 gallons that you use over 5,000 gallons. That's how their rate structure works.
So this could be actually even more than what we're
Yes,
paying
ma'am.
now. That's what I feared.
Count on it, and you
Depends
know.
on if you use more water than the average person. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
husband,
let's-
my
let's-
husband has a house in Troy. That's how I know. We don't use any water, we don't use any sewer. It's a house that is empty, and that's what we pay per quarter.
So you're complaining.
For no
this
use
couldn't
whatsoever.
be more?
Now, that's only in talking to the town clerk in the town of Troy.
Yeah.
How the system works is you have to establish a rate structure
Yeah,
based on data that you collected. In Mike reading the meters, just last time, there was a glitch in the meter readings. Your usage, if you would calculate your usage, the number of days is wrong. Because for whatever reason, from the machine to the computer, something got screwed up. Nothing that we did, just working out the bugs, and it dropped one of the readings. So if you would have paid, let's say we would hurry up and do a rate structure without collecting the appropriate data, everyone would have been charged for 71 days of usage twice. Now, that's something that we find out in doing, that's the purpose of collecting data, that's the purpose of doing this. That's the first thing. Then we have to establish a rate structure based on the bills that we have to pay each and every year. Because the taxpayers do not pay anything relative to the water, it is only the water users and the sewer users. So there's a lot to it. We have talked to a company that is willing to help us. Vermont Rural Water is willing to help us. Those are two free organizations that Mike and I have reached out to that will be helping us down the road. But there again, we have to provide them with all of the information that we have so that they can build a base. Then you have to change your ordinance to reflect that. And you have to be careful that, you do everything right so that you don't get taken into court for doing something wrong, as the city of Newport did. So, yeah, but we are moving forward, we are trying.
Well, thank you for that
yeah,
information.
that was informative information.
So basically, I'm gonna read 8A and B. How exactly will the service fee for the municipal water users be calculated? And 8B is how exactly will the price per gallon charges to the municipal water users be calculated?
I just answered
And
that.
basically Denise just answered that. Is that, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy, it was, that was some information that I'm sure a lot of people needed to hear, as well as myself.
And again, Denise had looked this up and she said we know from talking to other towns that there will be a base rate along with a price per gallon after that. And that's how they are doing it. Yes,
Since I was on the water committee, I just want to remind everybody that the reason we're in this position that we're in now is it was a decision to make, to have water meters. Otherwise, it would have been a simple calculation where everybody pays the same amount. But there was, within the design, the idea that we would have some way of monitoring the amount that people use and that people would be billed on the amount they use in order to reduce the demand on the water system and hopefully take care of any future costs having to do with increasing the amount of flow from the system and everything else, which had a cost involved in it. And I think from what I understand, we also have found that there are places that we didn't know of where there are leaks and other kinds of things because of, that decision around the water meters. So I'm just adding this in here because we could have gone a very easy route, which would have been just to put in a new water well and incur that, without going through all of this of trying to make, it became a fairness argument. Why should I have to pay this much, because I barely flush my toilet every day, and I'm the only one taking a shower, and then you'd have there were a lot of people that felt like they were paying way too much, and other people were using up water in their lawn, filling up swimming pools and all kinds of things, and they all paid the same amount. We came to this decision, or came to this current process, because the community wanted to have a different setup so people felt it was fair.
And it's important to know that the select board relied heavily on the water board and their recommendations in going forward. And I don't know if people are aware of this, if I could just say one more thing. Fred and Mike monitor behind the scenes, which people don't seem to realize, is that daily they are on the water, on the sewer. They check it once a day, twice a day. If they suspect a leak, they go around, they look, they walk the lines again to see if the ground is soft.
Anytime you have something underground, it's
They go above and beyond to
Hard to
try
You
to,
can't find it till it comes up.
right.
If you do, it's gonna be a long ways away.
I remember having a neighbor that said, I think I'm gonna build a pond out back. I've got a hell of a spring coming out of my drain out there. And I said, you've got a water leak. Oh, no. Yeah, you got a water leak. So we got him to Mike to test the water. Sure enough, there was chlorine in it. His water was leaking right above the drain around his house. It was going right out of it. He thought he had a hell of a spring. How long it had been going on, I don't know, but he finally said something to me. He says, you got a water leak. You know, I mean, it's,
You know, so those guys try, they're on it 7 days a week.
we had this situation down street here, and the guy claims that he called the state police, but I don't think he did, because they always call Fred, but he called the town garage at 7:30 at night and said there's a water leak. Well, nobody's working.
Yeah, nobody works at some day, you know, you're in winter time, but.
So in the
That's
last,
why you got the notes in the water bills.
so at the
with
last
Mike's
billing,
cell
we
phone.
sent a note out that with Mike's phone number, if anyone has a problem, call this number, especially at night, you know, so we don't drain the reservoir.
But usually the
We're all
state police
trying.
State police gets a call, I get a call.
Yeah,
And I'm a water user. I'd like to see it go down. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't, but I'm sitting on this side, you know, thinking, Jesus Christ, it's just, everything costs so damn much. And the state, when they stick their nose in, and I know Rick will agree, and if Steve was here, he would agree. Steve and I have had this discussion before. We'd like to tell the state to go, but you can't. I'm telling you, you can't. We've come close a few times, but you can't.
I think.
Number 9, on board. Let's see, number 9. What does on board mean? Exactly in reference to Steve Barrett's statement regarding Aldridge and Elliott. On board means they are ready, willing, and able to help us if we need their help. On board for how long? They're on board as long as they are our engineers. In what capacity? As our engineers. At what cost? The cost is totally dependent on what we ask of them and the billing rates at that time of them.
So then they don't have, there's no set rate, just have them there? I forget what you call that. You know,
That's a good
holding
They're
fee.
not like on a retainer,
We
no.
we don't have them on
Retainer.
retainer, because that would cost us even more.
Yeah, no.
So they're.
Probably by the hour, I would imagine.
So as you call them, on call, sort of, right?
Right.
All right?
Yeah, the cost is totally dependent on what we ask of them and the billing rates at the time.
All right?
And something like that would be discussed openly if you needed to do that, right?
Each and every time.
Are there any more items agreed on in the agreement with Aldridge and Elliott beyond the water manual from amendment that would be included in the statement Steve made on board? No more agreements with Aldridge and Elliott beyond the water operation and maintenance manual.
Very good. I'd like to make one more comment. One of the biggest issues here, and everyone says, well, water leaks, this and that, is deficits. And I'm got my eyes open all over that. I mean, how everyone could go 4 years paying $6,000 a month to haul water, instead of fixing the problem. Okay, you did something in 2012, what happened in 2013 and 14? And then I see that you put a solar, instead of a mandatory essential project like water, hey, let's put a solar garden in and spend $250,000 or more, you know, and not fix the water. I mean, that, and just let the deficit keep getting bigger and bigger. And nobody wanted to do it. And I remember how reluctant Steve was to even stop it. It's gonna cost you $64,000 if we do that. Oh, instead we'll pay $400,000. I mean, that's a lot of money, and how it could even happen every month. But now, I'll tell you, I'm gonna keep my eye on the books at all times. If I ever see that, I question it. I question it, because I think nobody knew it was happening. It just happened, and it was neglected. You must admit it was neglected. I don't care any reason why it should have happened. And I believe with that amount of money, it's a given there was corruption involved, but I can never prove it. With that amount of money, $400,000, it was happening. People come out of the woodwork for that kind of money, and they come up with ways to hide the money. You know, that amount of money, it's a given. But you know, now I'm gonna still, I'm not finished, Dwight. And now I'm gonna look at things, and I was publishing the payables every month. I wanna watch them, everyone else wanna watch them. You see something like that happening every month that doesn't make sense, I'm gonna talk about it. So that's what I can do, because that whole deficit, there's no recourse on it. It's gone, it's done. You can only learn a lesson, keep your eyes open and ask questions when big expenses come around, instead of just nobody knows, no one comes to meetings, no one looks at the numbers. Well, that's one thing I can change. I can show people the numbers, and maybe they'll look at it. And I can look at it, and I can ask questions. Now that's what I'm gonna get out of that, and it disturbs me, that deficit, that large deficit, which is part of our, is gonna be part of our payment in the future. Still, $200,000, it's gotta be paid, it's gonna come out of our monthly fee, and that bothers me. But nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? Nothing I can do about it, except, you know, watch, and try to make sure, if I see anything like that, I question it. That's, you know, that's what disturbs me, and a lot of other people. You know, they, I don't know how many people realize that was the reason we got the thing. And to me, I don't know, neglect, corruption, a bunch of things come to my mind, but I can't prove any of it. But something was going on to be neglected for that long.
Anyway, thank you, everybody.
That was
nice.
informative.
Thank you,
and
Jane.
I know the people are going to appreciate that. I published that, because, you know, there's been a lot of questions.
It was
You know,
more than I knew.
I mean, I get a little discussion gets heated up, but this is an open meeting, and I'm not gonna hate you for it. It was only a discussion. We get out of we heat up a little bit. You know, it's part of the game. I mean, I was told by a lawyer once. You know, I was talking about someone yelling at me or something. She goes, you know, open meeting, you go to court and you say someone yelled at you, swore at you or anything, the judge is gonna say, hey, that's what it's about. You know, it's an open meeting, people discuss.
Dwight, did you have something?
Well, yes, I was there for a lot of these discussions having to do with, you know, where things were going, you know, and, you know, I understand your frustration, because I think it was frustration for all of us that were involved in this, that it was taking so long. And it was a very complex thing that involved a lot of moving parts. And what I mean by that is you had some very strong community people that questioned the need for it. And then there would be question, you know, why are you doing it there? And so pretty soon, you know, we're all in meetings, and we're going up, and we're going up the road to look at a place, and we're going over to another place to look at a place. They were talking about taking water from way over under 100. They were talking about doing it right down the road here. All of those things needed to be investigated. It took time to do that.
And you went to those sites.
Yes, I went to those sites, and then pretty soon you're out of the season in which you can do any of this stuff. You can't do it. I mean, once you're in October, you know, you're into prime rain, and then it's winter, and it's crummy, but there, you know, as far as trying to get the thing moving, there was many people involved in trying to divert it all kinds of different directions that had concerns like you do, different concerns, but they had concerns about where it was gonna go and what it was gonna be and how much it was gonna cost. And all of those things had to be addressed before you could do anything about a bond or even talk to the engineers about what the final design was gonna be. It was a long process. Most of the concerns that I saw were driven by a few, people within the community that said they represented a lot of other people in the community. And so they took it upon themselves to take it in different directions. I think that with the select board as it was constituted, I think since then, I think if they had, been able to, just do it, I think it could have been done in 2 years. But there was no way with the way things were going. Unfortunately, we were having problems with the state approving the use of water, and that made it so we had to truck water. That was a huge expense to the town. It wasn't because anybody here designed it that way, it was because the state of Vermont said we had to get different water. And so we were stuck with those huge bills because of that. And
Can I say something? You're talking about 2015, when everything was engaged, there was an effort
please
made to do it.
lower your voice.
13
I'm not gonna talk to you if you keep raising your voice. No, don't, listen, no. I will leave, okay? I'm trying to be, a reasonable person here. You're being unreasonable.
It's a meeting!
We need
Yeah.
to move on.
No, but that was
We need to move on.
2015. They were engaged, everything was, what happened in
Thank you, I'm
2013?
done.
What
We have
happened
an
in
agenda.
2014? Nothing was being done. At
Thank you, I-
$6,000, $60,000 a week. That's my issue. The deficit drove up and nobody was doing anything. That's it. 2015, you got a valid point. But I'm talking about 13, 14, and 15. Let's see, that's about $300,000
Excuse me,
in
Mary, we have an
deficit
agenda to follow, we
accumulated.
need to move on, it's time. Set the tax rate for 2019 and address penalties for the late homestead filers. Filters, filers, okay, I got it right.
Each year you have to vote on that, historically in August. Usually you guys go by what the state allows, the maximum the state allows, which is 8%. That's like if somebody files their homestead declaration after April 15th. But it has to be a motion.
And
it
we've
has to be
always stayed with the 8.
with the state
Yes.
standards, yeah.
I make the motion to stay with that.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Mhm.
Passes.
Okay. Now for the tax rate, what I've done is, Steve isn't here, I can just switch over. What I did is, we got our education tax rate, so that's pretty much cast in stone.
I'm surprised they gave it to us that quick.
I know.
So we have to wait.
Some of the towns set their tax rate like last year. That's the tax rate for the education. And then for,
Boy, there ain't a lot of difference to it.
No, there isn't.
There.
no, a lot of towns are getting closer too.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the general fund, I printed out your expenditure report, which you guys get. We have to take this amount and back out all of your appropriations. And I double checked this on the computer too. So the general fund budget, including the listers, is this, less anticipated revenue, which the revenue is like your recording fees, your current use payment, dog licenses, interest earned, that's pretty much all we have. We now have to start a restoration fund, which is a restricted fund as of July 1st. They upped the recording fee. If you record a deed or a mortgage or anything in the land records, it used to be $10 a page.
Really?
Now it's 15 per the state, mandated that, and $4 of that, of every 15 you collect has to go into a restoration fund to be used to like restore your old books and such and home the vote. So we can't use that to decrease your tax rate.
Okay?
So we have to raise $199,640, and the grand list that the listers lodged is this right here, $193,127,000. We have to, it's because it's So,
It's 1,937,000, not 193 million.
Yeah.
no, it's per hundred, it's per, this, you have to,
Per 100.
right,
Right,
this is
yeah.
per hundred,
Yes.
so it's, actually, you
Yeah.
gotta move the you gotta move this
Yeah.
is divided by 100, so.
Yes, yes.
All the property in town is worth 193 million.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the general fund, the way, you have to take that divided by that grand list comes to .1031.
Mhm.
Appropriations, the same thing, everything that was voted at town meeting, and in that figure is, remember, we have a truck that we're
Yes.
paying for the fire department.
Yes,
So the same difference, .0961. And then if, you guys can do this on your calculators too if you like. And then the roads, what was voted at town meeting was 717,410 less, all we get for road money that we can count on is your state aid.
Mhm.
That's 99,028 for 2019. So that is .3192. So if you add those three figures, plus your homestead tax rate of 1.4497, your residential tax rate would be 1.9681. And then your non-residential, of course, that you have to vote on those three things, plus the non-res, which was 1.4791. So the non-residential is 1.9975. And what I did is Avis was here today, so we put it into the computer to make sure that everything jived. And we were careful, because some towns mixed up their roads and their general fund, so we kind of were mindful of that.
so the 1.99 is the non-homestead.
Yep, non-residential.
Okay.
Is that much of an increase from last year?
5 cents.
5 cent increase
Yeah,
per 100?
per 100, yeah.
Well, I make a motion, we go to those.
I second it. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Those opposed?
Okay, so the residential is gonna be 1.9681.
Yes.
So, yeah, we might get our tax bills out a little bit sooner too, this year.
I wouldn't hurry them.
What's that, 1.9.61, what is that?
1.9681, it's your tax rate for the year 2019.
Okay.
And if you were a non-resident, it would be 1.9975, so anybody that has another piece of land somewhere pays that higher rate.
So that's a percent, 1.9,
No, $1.99
$1.99 per 100, what?
per $100 of your assessment.
Yeah.
And that's the increase, is that what it is?
No, that's the tax rate, that's what you're gonna be taxed. That's your tax rate when you get your tax bill. That's what, we're gonna charge you at $1.96, 1.9681 per $100 of your assessment.
Oh, I see. Of the
That's
house.
that's for the town, the school, everything for the
So
taxes.
whatever your property is, it's 1.9683 or whatever.
8-1.
They want.
per
That's
100.
it.
Yes, sir? Yep.
Sign orders, review and appropriate journal entries and bank statements.
We've done
We've
that.
done that. And make the motion to move on again.
Yes.
Unfinished or new business? Chris, do you have anything?
I'm just sitting here, taking up space.
We don't need executive session?
Actually, I had something.
Oh.
Back on this paper, your name's spelled wrong. Just saying.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Second it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Great meeting, it was very informative.